Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down chapter 199 today, titled Hope. And I am telling you, I have been waiting for this. The last few chapters have been a masterclass in tension, just ratcheting up the desperation page by page. But you can't have despair without the dawn, right? And this chapter is the first ray of light.
We've seen Luffy lose twice now, in brutal, humiliating ways. We've seen a kingdom on the brink of absolute collapse, manipulated into self-destruction. The word hope has felt very far away. It's been a word spoken only by Vivi, almost as a prayer against an uncaring sky.
Until you hear it, that solid, meaty thump, the sound of an untouchable man getting punched square in the jaw. Oda is a master of sound effects in his panels, but this one echoed. This one changed the entire soundscape of the arc.
The sound of a god bleeding. It's a foundational myth in many cultures, the moment mortality is introduced to the divine. And here in Alubarna, we are watching that myth play out in real time.
If you want to be there the moment these so-called gods get knocked off their pedestals, make sure your signal reaches us. Subscribing is the best way to make sure you never miss the call when the Straw Hats answer. We've got a lot to unpack, so let's get into it.
The chapter opens right where we left off, Vivi falling from the sky. It's a hauntingly beautiful and tragic image. She's tried everything. She's given her all. And her reward is to be flung from the clock tower, forced to watch her kingdom die from a god's eye view.
But this is One Piece, and in One Piece, you're never truly falling alone if you have friends. Pell, the Falcon, just swoops in, but he's not alone. Luffy is right there with him, and they catch her together. It's this perfect, soaring image of her country's guardian and her new friend saving her at the last possible second. The old guard and the new hope literally meeting in midair to catch their princess. It's pure poetry.
But she isn't relieved. That's the part that's so heartbreaking. The physical danger is over, but her emotional and psychological agony is at its peak. She's broken. She immediately starts telling Luffy that it's over. The royal army lost, the rebels are storming the plaza, and the bomb is going to wipe everyone out. It's a torrent of failure pouring out of her.
You can feel the weight of every single death in her voice. She's not just a princess. She feels like the sole bearer of her country's soul, and she feels it slipping through her fingers. She's just crying, saying she can't stop anyone, that she can't save her country. And Luffy, he doesn't give her some big hero speech. He doesn't say, "We'll fix it."
He just tells her, "Your voice reached us."
That's it. That's the whole thing right there. In just a few simple words, he completely reframes the entire conflict. My God, that line gives me chills every time. It's not about the politics, the armies, the bomb. It's that his friend was screaming for help, and he heard her. That's the entire mission for Luffy.
It cuts her off completely, because for her, the mission is this grand, abstract concept, saving Alabasta. It's this immense royal burden she carries alone. It's a political objective with casualty reports and strategic goals. For Luffy, the mission is saving Vivi. It's personal. It's tangible. He isn't here to save a nation. He's here because his friend is crying.
Exactly. And by doing that, by focusing entirely on that one personal connection, he ends up saving the country anyway. That's how he operates. We saw it with Nami in Arlong Park. The mission wasn't to liberate an island. It was, "Nami, you are my friend," and then destroying the room where she suffered. He simplifies these impossibly huge problems down to one thing, helping his Makama.
It's a powerful perspective shift for her and for the reader. She's been trying to carry the weight of the world, a burden that would crush anyone. Luffy is reminding her that she doesn't have to. The solution wasn't to have a better plan or a stronger army. The solution was just to call for her friends. He validates her struggle not by promising victory, but by acknowledging her pain.
And that's what gives her that first glimmer of hope. Not a promise, but the fact that she's not alone anymore. Super! Okay, so after that incredibly powerful moment, we then cut away and see Zoro and Nami making their way to the plaza, and man, they are beat up.
Zoro especially. He has that massive gash across his chest from his fight with Mr. One, Daz Bones. That was a fight he won not through technique, but through sheer force of will. He learned to cut steel by nearly being cut in half, and yet he's the one carrying Nami.
That's our guy. The man's durability is just off the charts. It's inhuman. He's probably in way worse shape than she is after her fight with Miss Doublefinger, which was no walk in the park, but he just throws her over his shoulder and keeps moving. No complaints, no hesitation. This is that first mate energy right here, the pillar of the crew.
It's that quiet strength. Oda doesn't give them a lot of dialogue here. He doesn't need to. The image speaks volumes about their trust in each other. He knows she's hurt, she knows he's hurt, but they both know he's the one who can keep going. There's no argument, no discussion of who's more injured. It's a pragmatic and deeply trusting act.
It's just, we gotta go, and he does what needs to be done. He's probably bleeding through his bandages. Every step must be agony, but the mission is to get to the plaza, so he moves. That's the first mate right there.
They land in front of the palace, Pell dropping Luffy and Vivi off. He tells Luffy to be careful, a warning from a seasoned warrior to a young man he's just seen fall twice.
And Luffy's response is just ice cold. He says, "I won't lose any more." The tone is completely different from before. He's not just running on instinct and anger now. There's a certainty there. He talks about how he ate a ton of meat and his blood is surging. This isn't the guy who got dried out and thrown through quicksand. This is round 3 Luffy. He's learned, he's refueled, and he is ready.
The meat detail is funny, but it's also fundamental to how he works. He has burned through every ounce of his energy. He's been defeated to the point of near death twice, but his will to fight is so strong that all he needs is fuel, and his body gets right back up. It speaks to a level of vitality that is, frankly, monstrous.
And as he says this, as he makes this declaration, the rest of the crew arrives.
The reunion. This is the shot, the full-page spread. After all these separate, brutal one-on-one fights across Alubarna, they are all in one place. Usopp and Chopper looking like they just ran a marathon through a minefield. Sanji, cool as ever, but you can see the wear on his suit. And then Zoro and Nami limp in, him carrying her. The Straw Hat Pirates are assembled.
It's the Alabasta Avengers moment. You feel that swell of music in your head when you see that panel. Every single one of them has faced an opponent that pushed them to their absolute limit, and every single one of them won. They are all stronger, all more resolved than when they split up.
It's the first time they've all been together in one place, standing since they first split up in the city. And for Vivi, this must be an overwhelming sight. It feels like a turning point. She had the entire royal army, and they failed. Now she has 6 pirates, all of them injured, and you just know this is the force that will actually save the day.
Vivi just looks at all of them, this battered, bruised, but standing crew, and you can see the relief wash over her. Her real army is here. Her friends are okay. It's the confirmation of what Luffy just told her. Her voice did reach them, and here they are.
And, of course, the very first thing that happens in this moment of high drama and emotional reunion is Nami immediately walks over to Usopp and just decks him.
She smacks him right to the ground, a perfect right hook, and she's yelling at him about the climate act, asking why he would think she'd want a toy for parties. After everything she just went through, using every single gimmick in that staff to survive, her first instinct is to find the manufacturer and lodge a formal complaint with her fist.
Usopp just collapses, telling Chopper to bury his body in the wilderness. It's the perfect bit of levity. It's so quintessentially Straw Hat. The country's falling apart, there's a bomb about to go off, a warlord is on the roof, but Straw Hat priorities remain the same. Nami's grievances with Usopp's inventions are front and center.
And then Sanji sees Nami all scraped up and he goes full love cook mode. His eye turns into a heart and he immediately pivots to rage at Zoro, yelling at him for letting her get hurt. The bickering is back. Nature is healing.
Zoro couldn't care less, of course. He just brushes him off. But it's so them. Even in the middle of a war zone, their core dynamics just snap right back into place. It's what makes them feel so real. This isn't a military unit that suppresses personality for the mission. Their personalities are the mission. Their chaotic, familial energy is their greatest strength. It's a moment of decompression for the audience and the characters. It tells us, okay, the gang's back. Things are gonna be okay.
Then it gets serious again. Luffy turns to all of them, and he apologizes. He says sorry for losing before.
A captain apologizing to a crew for a personal defeat, that's rare. We've seen other captains like Arlong or Krieg who would blame their subordinates for failure. Luffy takes it all on himself. He feels responsible for the prolonged suffering, for the state his friends are in because he couldn't take down the final boss on the first try.
He is. He's the captain, and he holds himself to that standard. It's not about pride for him. It's about protecting his crew. And in his mind, him losing put them all in more danger. But then he says it. It's time to change everything. And with that, he stretches his arms, grabs the palace roof, and just launches himself upwards.
Straight towards Crocodile. No more messing around. No more elaborate plans or strategies. The time of talk is over. The path is clear. Straight up. It's the Luffy doctrine in action.
He lands on the roof, facing Crocodile, with Cobra right there between them. Crocodile is just so smug, so unbelievably arrogant. He has this look on his face like he's dealing with a fly that just won't stay swatted. He reminds Luffy that he can't be touched.
That Logia ability has made him feel untouchable for years. He's a warlord. He's Sir Crocodile. He's orchestrated a civil war without anyone even knowing he was the puppet master. He genuinely believes no one in this desert, perhaps no one in the world, can harm him. He sees himself as a force of nature, like the desert itself.
But you notice something different about Luffy. He's carrying that giant, sloshing water barrel on his back. It looks ridiculous. It's so goofy. This is the climax of a massive, dramatic war arc, and our hero shows up to the final boss fight looking like a water delivery boy. It's the most Luffy-esque solution to an impossible problem you could ever imagine.
Crocodile sees it, but I don't think he understands its significance. He probably just sees it as more proof that Luffy is a fool, that this pirate is nothing more than a simple-minded brute who doesn't understand the fundamental laws of power on the Grand Line. He doesn't see a strategy, he sees a joke.
And that's his mistake. It's always the mistake these villains make. They underestimate him. He gives his little "you can't touch me" speech one more time.
And Luffy just clocks him.
Boom, a straight right hand right to the face. The panel is incredible. There's no ambiguity. It connects. Crocodile's head snaps back. Blood flies from his mouth. He is completely, utterly shocked. His eyes are wide. This isn't supposed to happen. This breaks the laws of his world.
For the first time, Sir Crocodile has been successfully attacked. The untouchable man has been touched. The god has been grounded. All of his arrogance, all of his confidence is built on the foundation of his invulnerability. And in one punch, Luffy just took a sledgehammer to that foundation.
And Luffy doesn't waste a second. He doesn't pose, he doesn't gloat. He presses the advantage. He grabs him, winds up, and hits him with a Gomu Gomu no Buzzsaw. Just a relentless, spinning attack that sends Crocodile flying back, crashing into a wall. Super! That is the moment everything changes. That's the hope the chapter title is talking about.
Down below, King Cobra is just stunned. His mouth is agape. He can't believe what he's seeing. So many have tried and failed. His entire royal guard was defeated. He has watched this man dismantle his kingdom with impunity for years. To see him bleed is to see the impossible happen. But then there's another reaction that's far more interesting.
Miss All Sunday. Nico Robin.
She isn't shocked. She isn't scared for her boss. In fact, she looks visibly impressed. It's more than that. She has this little smile on her face, a genuine, intrigued smile, as if she's watching a fascinating historical event unfold, and she's pleased with the direction it's taking.
What does that mean? What is going on in her head right there? She's impressed that Luffy figured it out? Or impressed that someone finally managed to land a hit on her boss? That's unsettling. It throws her entire allegiance into question. She saved Luffy from the quicksand, and now she's smiling as he beats up her boss.
It suggests her loyalty to Crocodile isn't as absolute as it seems. It never has been. She is a partner, not a subordinate. But even that partnership seems to be one of convenience. She's an observer. She's watching history unfold. And she seems to be enjoying the show regardless of the outcome. Or perhaps this is the outcome she was hoping for.
Crocodile picks himself up, wiping blood from his lip, and he finally puts it together. The shock gives way to calculation. He's smart, you have to give him that. He points at the barrel on Luffy's back. The water.
He realizes that's how Luffy is able to hit him. His body can't turn to sand when it's wet. It solidifies. It becomes tangible. It becomes vulnerable. The one thing he has spent years removing from this country is the very thing that can defeat him.
And Luffy confirms it. He monologues a little bit, which is rare for him, but he lays it all out. He's so proud of himself for figuring it out. He remembers back in their first fight in the desert, when he was spitting out the water he'd drank, he managed to grab Crocodile's arm.
It was just for a second, a tiny detail in the chaos of a fight that anyone else would have missed or dismissed as a fluke. It was seemingly insignificant.
But not Luffy. His battle instincts are on another level. This is his unique brand of intelligence. It's not about books or plans. It's about feeling, instinct, and observation in the heat of the moment. He didn't understand it then, but he filed it away. His body knew something was different in that instant, and while he was recovering and eating, his mind finally connected the dots. He realized that water must be the weakness.
And then he makes the final connection. The last piece of the puzzle that reveals the true depth of Crocodile's evil. The reason Crocodile stole Alabasta's rain. The dance powder. It wasn't just to get rid of his own weakness. He created a battlefield on a national scale where the one thing that could hurt him literally did not exist.
That's a whole other level of evil genius. It's monstrous. He plunged a nation into a drought and civil war, not just for power, but for his own personal invincibility.
It's diabolical. He wasn't just conquering a nation, he was terraforming it into his personal fortress, ensuring his own invincibility. He tried to edit the very laws of nature in his favor. It shows a level of foresight and meticulous planning that is terrifying. He wasn't just a strong guy. He was a master manipulator of politics, people, and even the environment itself.
But he didn't count on a pirate showing up with a giant barrel of water on his back, the ultimate wrench in the gears of his perfect machine. Luffy just squirts more water onto his fists, looks Crocodile dead in the eye, and tells him their fight is only just beginning.
The tables have completely turned. The psychological advantage is done. Crocodile now knows he can be hurt, and Luffy knows exactly how to do it. The playing field has been leveled, not by an equal power, but by ingenuity and a canteen of water.
It's the ultimate showdown. The man who controls sand versus the man who brought his own puddle. It's perfect. It's so One Piece. It's ridiculous and epic all at the same time.
Before we get to predictions, I did want to mention Oda's author comment for this chapter. It's a sad one. He notes that Ginzo Matsuo, the voice actor for Smoker in the anime, passed away.
Oh man, he had such an iconic voice for Smoker too. That gruff cigar chewing sound. You hear that voice and you immediately see Smoker's face. That's a huge loss for the anime.
It is. Oda just says, may he rest in peace. It's a somber note on an otherwise triumphant chapter. We mentioned Luffy's line, "Your voice reached us," earlier. It's a reminder that the voices of these characters are brought to life by real people, and their work makes this world resonate so deeply with us. Mr. Matsuo's voice definitely reached all of us.
Absolutely. Rest in peace, Matsuo-san. Your work will live on forever.
Okay, so Luffy has the key. He can hit Crocodile, but this fight feels far from over. This is a warlord of the sea. He's not going to go down easy just because his trick is revealed.
Not a chance. All right, predictions. You want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. Prediction 1. Crocodile adapts immediately. He knows the weakness now. His first move is going to be to destroy that water barrel. It's the single biggest threat to him on that roof. The fight is going to become a game of keep away, with Luffy trying to stay wet and Crocodile trying to dry him out, maybe using his sand powers to absorb the moisture, or just physically smash the barrel.
That makes sense. He's not just going to stand there and take punches. He's a tactician. He'll identify the source of the problem and eliminate it.
Exactly. Prediction 2, we're going to cut away from the rooftop. The crew is all together now, but the bomb in the clock tower is still the main threat to the city. The clock is literally ticking. Luffy's handling Crocodile, so I think the rest of the crew, led by Vivi, is going to start a mad dash to find and disarm that thing. Their fight isn't over yet either. We'll get a split narrative. Luffy's physical fight against Crocodile and the crew's race against time.
A split focus. I can see that. The stakes are twofold. Okay, my turn. My first prediction concerns Miss All Sunday. That impressed look is a major clue. I don't think she's going to interfere to help Crocodile. I think she might subtly interfere to help Luffy, not because she likes him, but because a defeated Crocodile serves her own mysterious agenda. She might accidentally drop a key or leave a map to the bomb, or give Cobra a hint about something. She is playing her own game, and Crocodile losing may be a necessary move on her board.
Ooh, I like that. The wild card. She's been an enigma this whole time. This could be where we see her true colors, or at least a shade of them.
My second prediction is about Pell. He flew off after dropping Luffy and Vivi at the palace. He is one of the 2 guardian deities of Alabasta, and he feels he failed his kingdom and the royal family. The bomb is set to go off in the city's central square, designed for maximum casualties. I believe Pell is going to be the one to stop it. I think he's going to grab the bomb and fly it straight up into the sky, as high as he can, sacrificing himself to save the people. The Falcon's final flight.
Bro, don't even say that. That would be devastating. Pell is such a cool character, but I could totally see it happening. A noble, tragic end for a loyal guardian. That would hit right in the feels.
And for my third, this is a small one. Cobra. He is watching this fight. He's been a pawn in Crocodile's game for years, forced to sit by and watch his country tear itself apart. Now that he sees a flicker of hope, I think he's going to do something. He's not a fighter, but he knows the palace. He knows its secrets. He might try to trigger a trap or reveal something about the building, a hidden waterway, a structural weakness that Luffy can use to his advantage against Crocodile. He will contribute to his own kingdom's liberation, even in a small way.
The king gets to fight back. I love it. Man, I can't wait to see what happens next. This is getting good. The final battle has begun. The crew is reunited, and there's a bomb about to explode. This is One Piece at its best. Make sure you're subscribed so you can join us next time as we dive into Chapter 200. This is Inherited Dawn, signing off. Super!